year before. Shalom, 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 Israel. First off, giving all honor and praises to the Most High and to his son, Yahushua. We are the Battle Axes of the Most High, coming to you with another Sabbath class breakdown. Shabbat shalom to brothers and sisters that are watching online, to Battle Axes all over. Shabbat shalom to brothers and sisters in class. The name of today's class is Betrothed to Christ, Jew and Gentile. Betrothed to Christ, Jew and Gentile. Because we kind of really want to keep homing in these points, making sure that brothers and sisters understand first and foremost what the definition of a Gentile is, what is a Gentile, and how is it understood in the New Testament throughout the scriptures. We also want to show and prove to brothers and sisters that Christ was only betrothed to the nation of Israel. It was only promised, it was only ever espoused to the nation of Israel. We also here to turn down Christian dogmas, Christianity in general, because they are plaguing our people with madness, man. First precept we want to go to, you ready up? First precept we want to go to, let's go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 4. We also kind of want to lump these things in with brothers and sisters having understanding of future marriages. Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 4. Turn that speaker out, like twin, turn it straight. Yeah, face it up. Let's turn it a little bit more straight. Not yet. Y'all can kind of hear it. Yeah, thanks. All right. Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2. Can you hear out? What about you in the back, Ezra? Not really because of that fan? Okay. I would say brothers and sisters get cold, y'all can turn off that fan. Because y'all want to turn off the fan, y'all all right? Brothers and sisters, y'all all right? Make sure y'all awake up in here, man. Gotta ask brother, they froze me in class. I ain't coming back. Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 4. Read that out.
The book of Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all, in the bed undefiled.
It says marriage is honorable in all, meaning that's an honorable thing for a man and a woman to come together under God's law, statutes, and commandments. That's right. How it was always commanded to be. And this is something that brothers and sisters can take, those that are proving one another, those that are married, so on and so forth. These are qualities that brothers and sisters need to take unto their own lives. It says, and the bed undefiled, meaning it's out of order for you to disrespect your husband, or for a husband to disrespect a wife, or for things to be out of order in your family, sleeping outside of the marriage, committing adultery. Because you have to remember, Christ is our husband on a symbolic level. So when we ever step out on Christ, when we ever disrespect Christ, these are the standards that we have to uphold. Because we already know what the thought is, nigga, you ain't Christ. We always know it's that black Negro mentality out there. But remember, we are co-heirs with Christ. Anything that is done to us, like Christ said, guess what? We are doing it to who? Yeah. To him. So we have to always remember these things, man. Whole Hebrews 13 and 4, that precept just popped into my head. Give me that in the book of Matthews. We do it to Christ, we do it to him. Matthews chapter Matthew chapter 25 and verse 40. So we have to remember that when we are doing these things, we are doing these things against Christ, man. We have to remember that. I'm going to tell you, and we need that because that keeps us extra in check. A lot of times when brothers and sisters can't catch themselves in real time, you're not meditating and thinking upon the scriptures. Matthew 25 and verse 40. Read that out.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 25 and verse 40. And the king shall answer and say unto them,
the king is going into Christ, read on,
and say unto them, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren.
My who?
My brethren.
Christ's brethren is from the nation of Israel, man. Read on out.
Ye have done it unto me.
Ye have done it unto who?
Ye have done it unto me.
So when we're going against the brother, Christ is literally giving us the understanding that we're literally doing it to who, brothers?
Right.
We're doing it to Christ, man. This is something that brothers always have to keep in their mind. Sisters have to keep these things into their mind too as well. That'll help keep us on better tracks in our marriages, in our relationships, and how we deal with one another in a congregation, man. Go back to that Hebrews 13 and 4 again, huh?
The book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 4 from the top. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled.
The bed should be undefiled. So we know on a physical level, it's talking about what? On a physical level, it's talking about what? Not cheating, adultery, sexual sins that goes outside of the law. What is a sexual sin that brothers and sisters cannot commit? Adultery, what's another one? That's another one, but remember, fornication is the title. It's other subtitles that fall up under that.
Incest.
Incest, that's one of them. What's another one? Say it again. That still falls up under that category. Thank you. That's another one. You got incest. What's another one that I'm looking for that's kind of prominent amongst our nation? Threesomes. You know, brothers know that that's in the law that you cannot do. That's in Leviticus chapter 18. Up under all those laws fall fornication, sexual sins. A lot of people be surprised that they don't know that that's in there. You know, because think about it. You go into threesomes, any immoral sexual acts, a lot of times they add sin to sin. Because a lot of times you have the two sisters in there doing what? Kissing with each other. That go into what? Homosexuality. That's what it literally means, adding what? Sin to sin. Hey, these things are heavy. So that goes into undefiled. Spiritually, undefiled means what? Any brother know? Raise your hand. What you got, Ezekiel?
Us being espoused to the outside of the Most High, and then us going out and worshiping faith God.
That's right. Remember, it's always two sides of the edge of the sword with the scriptures. You always have a what? A spiritual side and a physical side. Physically, when we go off, it's going into adultery, fornication, a lot of those things, like we say, sexual sins. But on a spiritual note, we know that it's going into other gods, worshiping, celebrating other doctrines. Do brothers understand that? If you don't, make sure y'all write a mental note on that. Read on up.
Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled.
Read on.
But whoremongers,
but who?
But whoremongers.
But whoremongers, brothers and sisters that have that lustful spirit, that want to carnally go outside your marriage, and brothers and sisters that have that spiritual poor spirit, that want to go into other doctrines, that want to kind of creep back into Christianity because you don't like how brothers may bring out the scriptures. The scriptures say what they say, and we can't make excuses for them, man. Because guess what? We are here to save brothers and sisters' lives. You may have to snatch a person's arm out of socket to pull them out of the way of getting ran over. But guess what? We done did what? Saved your life. You rather have an arm out of socket or a body out of socket. I mean, we have to make these things plain. So, and it's a prime example because we can speak as sweet and soft to brothers and sisters, and they still don't hear it. So we might as well do it how the Most High God commands us to do it. Crying aloud like a trumpet, man. You can't play the game. Now, sometimes we do make a difference when we have compassion on brothers and sisters, and we see that they are taking in. You ain't gotta just keep beating them down. We see they got a humble spirit. That's what brothers have to use discernment. Read on up.
But whoremongers and adultery.
And who?
And adultery.
Read on up.
God will judge.
So we know that it's a judgment for, guess what? Having your bed defiled. It is a great judgment on those things, man. Whether it's on the carnal side or more importantly on the spiritual side. blows out your candle eternally. Go ahead.
Let's get this James 4:4 because I can speak in heavily on not only just physical but also spiritual fornication. Spiritual fornication. That's why the Lord is calling us what He's calling us in James 4:4. Someone may say, "Well, I've never slept off on my wife and my husband." Yeah, but you slept off on the Most High God. When you don't follow the laws of the Most High God, when you go into your own ways, when you lean on your own understanding, you are committing spiritual fornication. And this is what the Lord says. Read it. The book of James, chapter 4, verse 4. Bring it out. Ye adulterers and adulteresses. He says, you men and women that are adulterers and adulteresses. Let's see. What's clarified is there. Read. Know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? So you having friendship of the world makes you commit adultery, fornication, spiritual fornication. What is friendship of the world? Loving the things of the world, right? Want to go back into that old man, want to go back into that old woman, loving money or your job over the Most High God. This is why the Lord calls us adulterers and adulteresses. Men and women that are spiritually fornicating on the Most High God on a daily basis. Man. Right? Read on. He said enmity. He said the friendship of the world is enmity. You know what enmity means, right? At odds against. It's a barrier. It's a split. Friendship of the world is against loving the Most High God. You can't do two. That's what the Lord said. What? You have to choose a side. Right? Read on. Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God. And the Lord clarifies and shows you that you are a friend of the world. That means you are an enemy of me. Remember, the Lord told us in Exodus 23 that guess what? He said, I will be an enemy to your enemy, right? But that's only if you're on the side of the Most High God, right? Because if you're being a friend to the world, but then guess what? You're now become an enemy of the Most High God as well, right? So we want to make sure we understand that as much as physical fornication, there's also spiritual too. That's why we must come back into our nationality and to these laws and commandments. Huh? Go ahead now.
Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 23 and verse 18. We have to have that mindset. We have to tell brothers and sisters, happy new moon, happy new year as well. So like I forgot that. Happy new moon and happy new years. The new year did not start January the 1st. The new year is now. How do we know? Because we see things starting to do what? Spring back to life. January the 1st, it was cold as hell. Still in the dead of winter. You know, people have to understand these things. Read this.
Sirach, the book of Sirach, chapter 23 and verse 18.
Start up at verse 17, Salaki.
Sirach, chapter 23, verse 17. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. He will not leave off till he die.
And that thing is heavy because it goes twofold as well. Bread going into what? Physical men, or women. So you have that whoremongering brother that, guess what, will sleep with anything. I'm talking about it don't matter. Tall, fat, skinny, slim, tall, midgets, it don't matter. Any damn thing. When it says all, that's exactly what it means. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. But it's also a flip side, meaning what? Doctrines. You have those brothers and sisters, that brother that love to go into everything. 1 week he's in Egyptology, the next week he in Christianity, the next week he in the book of Jubilees, the week after that he's in the book of Jasher. He's in everything, man, because that's he think that is making him smarter than what the Most High God can make him. Read that again from the top.
Sirach, chapter 23 and verse 17. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. He will not leave off till he die.
Till he what?
Till he die.
Till the Most High God kill him. Whether or not it's with STDs or whether it's not with these philosophies and these different doctrines, because those things can carry a brother or a sister mind away. We have literally seen these things happen when you're trying to dibble and dab here and there and not staying focused. Many brothers and sisters of the congregation have seen these things, man. You don't have to just have me as a witness. Brothers and sisters have literally seen these things with their own eyes, man. Read on up.
Verse 18, a man that breaketh wedlock.
Read that again.
A man that breaketh wedlock.
A man that breaketh wedlock. Remember, we are married to Christ, man. When we going off sinning, committing fornication, going into other doctrines, we are breaking wedlock with our husband, which is Christ. Read on.
God said thus in his heart, who seeth me?
And a lot of times our people think that they are getting away scot-free from these things, man. And you are not, man. Remember, the Most High God has the angels recording and seeing everything each and every one of us do. Brothers and sisters may not see it amongst the congregation, but guess what? Those angels see it. And sooner or later, the Most High God can, guess what? Bring those things up in the midst of the congregation, and you can be cast down in the midst of the congregation, man.
That's right.
Read on.
Come, said thus in his heart, who seeth me?
What?
Who seeth?
Read on, man.
I am compassed about with dark.
With what?
With dark.
With darkness is going into physically and what? Spiritually what?
Dark.
Spiritually. What is spiritual darkness? No understanding, but what's the easier word? Sin. Sin. Remember, we always want to make it plain to our people. Read on up.
Come. I am compassed about with darkness. The walls covered me. And nobody see it.
And they thinking nobody is seeing the dirt that they do on a day-to-day basis. Read on.
What need I to fear?
What need I to fear? Read on.
The Most High will not remember my sin.
And they literally think that the Most High God has a one-track mind to where he can't recall or bring these things up on record. Remember, the Most High God gave us the law. So he always has what? 2 or 3 witnesses to prove his point. That's why judgment has to go out. Read on.
Come. Verse 19. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret part.
And that's some heavy stuff, because the Most High God is pulling the shades and the covers up on each and everything that you do, even the things that you have in your mind. Because you may say, you didn't hear me say that. You didn't hear me say that. But remember, the Most High God is hearing these things. And them niggas can't tell me nothing. I don't give a damn. They just niggas with Bibles. Like this. Guess what? We the messengers of the Most High. Gotta put some respect on that thing, man. This thing is heavy, because guess what? If not, judgment does come out, man. Whether or not you think that your husband can hear you, or your wife can hear you, or your mother or your father, guess what? The Most High God is hearing these things, man. Even like how Soji Hood was bringing out the class with the murmur. Brothers and sisters have to check those things, man, because guess what? You're not murmuring against your brothers and sisters. You murmuring against Christ, man. All these things point back to the Most High and to his son Yahushua. Go to the book of Hosea. What brother, raise your hand and tell me what captivity was Hosea? Go ahead, twin.
Syrian.
Assyrian captivity. All praise God. Do you remember the year? Did you write it down? Try to write, make sure y'all write those dates down. So the prophet Hosea was in the Assyrian captivity from 759 BC to about 725 BC. Now, 759 to 725. So remember, just a little background, because you know we want to cover multiple things. So we have in the book of 2nd Ezra, King Hosea. Is this King Hosea the same as this prophet Hosea? How do you know? That's another point, but what's another point too as well? That's right. It tells you the king, but more importantly, King Hosea was wicked, and the prophet Hosea was righteous. You know, do brothers and sisters understand what I'm talking about? Let me prove this right quick. Just kind of go to the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 13 to show you that the book of Hosea was the prophet Hosea, But this was the king Hosea. The king, another way you can easily prove it, where did King Hosea rule? What did he rule over? The southern or the northern tribe? Northern tribe. Were there any good northern tribe kings? That's easily how you can identify that. None of the northern tribe kings was good at all. They was all wicked as hell. Every single last one of them. Some just more than others. Let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra. Just kind of want to cover these things and make sure that brothers and sisters understand. It might come up when you're reading. Because remember, our names are interchangeable. Just like we have many brothers and sisters that may have the name of John or Peter. You know, it's still the same way in the past. These names were interchangeable. Read this right quick, Doc. 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 40.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea, the king of the who? The king.
In the time of Hosea, the king. So this is making reference to who? The king that was over the northern tribe during the time of the Assyrian captivity. Do brothers and sisters understand? Let's go back. Just wanted to just make sure that brothers and sisters understood. What you got out? 758 to 725. Remember, BC does what? It ticks down. AD does what? It ticks up. I would say when it says BC, BC means what? Before Christ. These are the things that happened before Christ. So the prophet Hosea was 758 years before Christ walked on the scene. Let's go to the book of Hosea, chapter 2, and start at verse 14. Now I want to get straight to the point. Start at verse 16. Y'all can keep it down at it.
The book of Hosea, chapter 2 and verse 16. And it shall be at that day, said the Lord, that thou shalt call me Ishi, and shalt call me no more Baal. For I will take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name.
Read it again from the top.
Verse 17. Yeah.
Verse 16. Select.
Verse 16. And it shall be at that day, said the Lord, that thou shalt call me Ishi, and shalt call me no more Baal. For I will take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name.
So what brother knows what the word Ishi means? Husband. So this is what this is making reference to. Read verse 16 again.
And it shall be at that day, said the Lord, that thou shalt call me Ish,
meaning husband, meaning when we're promised, when we're actually married to Christ. Read on.
And shall call me no more Baal. For I will take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth.
Out of her what?
Out of her mouth.
Read on. Meaning to speak about other gods. Read on.
And they shall no more be remembered by their name.
Read on.
And in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field.
So we know this goes into a lot of things, meaning when the Most High God, the marriage of the Lamb, the espoused, the promises, all these things go into this. He's also going to make a covenant with the beasts of the fields. Meaning what, brother? And what else? Meaning what? Explain it.
Meaning it's going to be a piece of the animal.
That's right. That's all that it is. We're going to have peace with the animals. Meaning what? We go out there, we'll be able to pet lions. It ain't got to be like Esau. They thinking they Tarzan for real, and the lion get out there and turns behind the Most High God put the spirit on these animals to bite them, pit bulls to attack people, because they thinking they actually think that they Tarzan, man, that they can tame the beast that the Most High God has created. No, in that day, guess what? That's going to be our power. Read on,
Verse 18 from the top. And in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field. and with the fowls of heaven, read on, and with the creeping things on the ground. And I will break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth.
So we know that these things we cannot be promised to Christ, because guess what? We still have war in the earth.
That's right.
This makes absolutely no sense for the small has to say that they are the chosen people,
Right.
when it's, I'm talking about terrible out here. When the righteous is in authority, the earth is at peace. But when the wicked is, guess what? Everybody is pissed off. It's always things that we can identify to prove that, guess what? We are God's chosen people, man.
That's right.
You literally just have America firing shots at the Houthis. You got the Houthis firing shots at the battleships that are over there. You literally had Iran just declare war on America. These are things that brothers have to be up on, because guess what? These are showing us the signs and the times, showing us how closer we are to Jacob's trouble and to our salvation and to the marriage of the Lamb. That's what we want, man. So brothers got to be watching these things. Brothers got to be up on history, man. You have to know some form of passion of these things, man. Read on, huh?
Come,
You want someone like that?
read on. Come, and the battle out of the earth. It will make them to lie down safe. To do what?
What is that battle?
That's right.
We just got to talk about what is the battle real quick? The battle of the earth. In the country. What are we talking about?
Be a piece of covenant with the piece of building.
That's right, because guess what? Remember, when Noah built the ark, do you think he had to go and battle with the damn elephants and the eagles? Or we gonna go out there right now and see a big ass eagle and put our arm out there like, come on, the eagle, now we ain't playing them games. So the Lord is talking about that battle, because right now it is a battle between us and the animals, man, right? You won't see a wild lion out here and go say, hey, let's go pick the lion, right? Because we know that right now a lion is what gonna attack sooner or later with us, right? Same thing with the snakes. Seeing a snake bite on a dude the other day, they cannot get him out. I know how to get him out, yeah. They did not get up out there, dude. Yeah. Right? So it's a battle, man. But that's what that battle is going to right there, the battle between us and the animals right now. We didn't have that back then. Go ahead, right?
Let's get there. So brothers can have these precepts, so sisters can have these precepts. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 11 and verse 6. Thanks, Art. Isaiah chapter 11 and verse 6. And you need to precept that with Hosea 2 and verse 18. There's other precepts. Remember, there's always 2 or 3 witnesses. We're just going to give you one witness. 2 and 18 precepts with Isaiah 11 and 6. Read that out.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 11 and verse 6. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid.
It says the wolf also shall dwell with the lamb. So how do you know that this is talking about future times? Because of now, you put a lamb and a wolf together, guess what? That lamb is going to tear through that lamb. That wolf is going to tear through the lamb. So like, you know,
Come. And the leopard shall lie down with the kid.
the kid is going into a what? A baby goat, meaning they're going to be at peace with one another. And they're going to go back to a vegetation state. Read on up.
And the calf, and the young lion, and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them.
What is that last part again?
And a little child shall lead.
What does that mean, Daoud? Why you eating cookies? Call them slip.
Like a baby.
A baby shall what? That's right. Meaning babies will be out there playing with the lions. You don't have Zion out there playing with Mufasa, man. Out there playing away, man. Meaning that we won't fear in that day for, like we say, retaliation of the beast. Read on up.
Verse 7. And the cow and the bear shall feed. Their young ones shall lie down together. And the lion shall eat straw like the ox.
And it's telling you that with the animals are going to go back to what? A vegetation state. Eating straw is going into what? Grass. Read on up.
Verse 9. So like in verse 8. And the suckling child shall play on the hole of the asp.
An asp is a poisonous snake. So you'll have a baby that's breastfeeding being able to play with snakes in the days of the king, in the marriage of the lamb. Man, it's some glorious stuff right here, man. Meaning all things are going to be back in order under the authority of the Most High, Christ, the 12 disciples, the 144,000, and the 1/3 of the elect of Israel. That is the ranking. We don't know.
And the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice den.
Man, they'll be able to pull rattlesnakes out of their den. That's some heavy stuff right there, man. Let's go back to the book of Hosea. Chapter 2 and verse 19.
You said 2 and 12?
2 and 19.
Oh, the book of Hosea, chapter 2 and verse 19. And I will betroth thee unto me forever.
For what?
Forever.
Meaning we're going to be promised to Christ and married to Christ for what? Forever. That's why Christians don't have a leg to stand up on. If the Gentiles were grafted in and will be promised with us with Christ, the prophet Hosea would have prophesied about these things. Remember, before these things sprang up, the Most High God does what? Tell us of them. He's not catching us in the dark. That's why Christians are totally caught off guard, man. And it's their own fault because they're not actually reading what the scripture is saying. And we understand this through the power of the Most High, man, because it's not given unto them, man. Because it's not even given to 2/3 of our people. So you know damn well the other nations not going to get it, man.
That's right.
We have to think about these things. Read that again from the top.
Come. Verse 19. And I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yea, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness.
In what?
In righteousness.
Under the laws, statutes, and commandments, read on.
And in judgment.
Read on.
And in loving kindness. And in mercy.
Read on.
I will even betroth thee unto me in faithfulness.
And hold up, that thing is heavy. Who caught that? That's basically saying the exact same thing that what Revelation 14 and 12 is saying. What? That we what? They that keep the commandments and have faith. We know that because righteousness is what? The law. And he literally said faithfulness verbatim. Did brothers catch that? This is where brothers, like we said, when you're reading things more and more, you will start to see these things. Read that again, verse 19.
Verse 19. And I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yea, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness, the law, and in judgment. Read on. And in loving kindness, and in mercy. Read on. I will even betroth thee unto me in faithful. Read on. And thou shalt know the Lord.
I mean, that's saying it plain. So that's where brothers can put what? Revelation chapter 14, verse 12. Home in those points, man. We always want to home in the points. The brothers and sisters got the precept. Who needs some time? Revelations 14 and 12. Precepts with this. Read on,
Verse 21. And it shall come to pass in that day, I will hear, said the Lord, I will hear the heavens, and they shall hear the earth.
Meaning the prayers that we send out, they'll be getting answered once the God has betrothed us back to Christ. Read on,
Verse 22. And the earth shall hear the corn.
What does that mean? The earth, corn represents what? Food, sustainability. Well, it is a similitude and a symbolism for that, meaning we won't be hungry. We won't need for anything. Read on,
And the earth shall hear the corn, and the wine, and the oil, and they shall hear Jezreel.
And they shall hear who?
Jezreel.
That's another word for what? For Israel, Zion. Read on,
And I will sow her unto me in the earth. Read on. And I will have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy. And I will say to them, which were not my people. Which were what? Which were not my people.
Who were not a people?
The
The northern kingdom. Let's get there. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter what? 11?
No, 7 and 8.
7 and 8. Let's get there. Brothers got to have that precept next to that. That's why I say Jews and Gentiles.
I'm saying that.
11 and 11. What's the point of that? Not a people. Now we want to kind of hit that on. That's something that you can add to afterwards, but we kind of hit it with the same phraseology. Not saying you're wrong, that is a good precept for it. But we want the reference. What is the reference that we trying to not a people to a bridge? Stay with me, twin. What you need?
I was thinking about that Loami precept.
Yes. And where is it at?
Hosea somewhere.
Yeah. You got to be up on that thing. Read this right quick. We go back.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 7 and verse 8. For the head of Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is Rezin.
The head means what? The capital. The head of Syria is Damascus. And guess what? It's still the same today. It's what the Most High God always leaves us clues in the Bible. The capital of Syria today is still Damascus. We don't know.
And within 65 years shall Ephraim be broken, that it be not a people.
That it be what?
That it be not a people.
This is who Hosea was prophesying about. And to really get the context, all we have to do is do what? Go back to the book of Hosea. Just go back to the book of Hosea and read what? Chapter 1. That's all that we have to do. Go back to Hosea chapter 1 and verse 9.
The book of Hosea, chapter 1 and verse 9. Then said God, call his name Lo-Ami, for ye are not my people.
That's what it means. Lo-Ami means not my people. Read on.
And I will not be your God.
Why? Because they went into what? Idolatry. The Most High God cast them off from being his chosen people. So if you're not God's chosen people, what are you, Brother Joshua? A Gentile. That's it. If you're not God's chosen people, you are a Gentile. The word Gentile means what? It really means nations. That's what the word Gentile means. Ethnos in the Greek, it just means Gentiles. So guess what? Israelites are in that and the other nations are in that. But to know which one is talking about, you have to get the what? The context. Every time, brothers. And a lot of times the answer is either what? Before or a little bit afterwards. Go ahead, huh?
Psalms. Let's go to Psalms right quick. Let's prove it. Psalms 106. Gentile just means nation. Like I said, you have to understand what context is in order to know what it's referring to. Let's go to Psalms 106 and start at I'm just going to show you this right quick. Just start at 34. Yeah.
The book of Psalms, chapter 106 and verse 34. They did not.
Hold on, start up at 32.
Get
a little context.
The book of Psalms, chapter 106 and verse 32. They angered him also at the waters of strife, so that it went ill with Moses for their sake.
Right, so you see we're talking about the children of Israel, right? Read on.
Because they provoked his spirit,
So that he
spake unadvisedly with his lips.
So that Moses spoke unadvisedly with his lips, right? This is the precept to show what Moses did wrong at the time. Read on.
They did not destroy the nation.
Read that again.
They did not destroy the nation.
Who did not destroy the nation? The Israelites did not destroy the nations. Read.
Concerning whom the Lord commanded them.
As the Lord commanded them, right? Going back into Saul and before time, right? Even in Deuteronomy. Read on.
But were mingled among the heathen.
Read that again.
But were mingled among the heathen.
Did y'all catch that? It shows you that nations could also mean heathens too, right? It's called them nations first. Then the Lord gave you right in the next precept to show you that it was talking about the heathens, right? Nations, Gentiles, these things, if Gentiles mean nations, you got to know what context is in, right? And this context, the Lord let us know that these nations that he's referring to were the heathen nations, right? Just something for y'all to be able to see. Go ahead,
to Hosea chapter 1. That was a great precept. Make sure, Bruce, write that down.
It said, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works.
That's right.
Right? So that's it to show you that that nation that it was referring to was the heathen nations at that time. Many other precepts, man, that'll show you nations. Gentiles mean nations. You got to know if it's the heathen nations or you got to know if it's Israel at that time. You go ahead, Al.
Do brothers understand that? Who don't understand that? Brother or sister? Because we want to make sure that we cover these things, man. Let's go back to the book of Hosea, chapter 1 and verse 9. Yeah.
The book of Hosea, chapter 1 and verse 9. Then said God, call his name Lo-Ami, for you are not my people. And I will not be your God.
Because they went into idolatry. Read on.
Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God.
Because guess what? That's in this time right now. Because they don't consider us God's chosen people. But when we out there on those corners, we are the ones telling our brothers and sisters that you are from the tribe of Zebulun. You are from the tribe of Naphtali. You are from the tribe of Asher. The world call you, guess what? African American, Mexican American, Native American. But no, God calls you the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Read on up.
Verse 11. Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together.
Be what?
Be gathered together.
So this is another point to show you Judah represents what? Israel represents what? Northern. Remember, Israel can be used interchangeably. Sometimes when you read in context, when it says the word Israel, it can be referring to what? All 12 tribes. But sometimes, like how we're reading in this context, it's showing you that it's talking about who? The northern tribe. Read on up.
Come. And appoint themselves one head.
Who is the one head? Christ. Read on.
And they shall come up out of the land.
And they shall come up out of the land. Out of what land?
The north.
The north, which is what? America. Hosea, even during this time, almost 4,000 years ago, was prophesying about us coming up out of the land of America. Christians dumb behind, they literally want to see, let me see America. Why would we put that in a book when y'all burn any damn thing that we get? Why? So that y'all could just burn it and still not believe the Bible anyway? Remember, the Bible is still written in a mystery book. It's not meant for you to get. Only the people that are keeping the commandments, that are Israelites and have faith in Christ, will get the understanding thereof. Read on up.
Come. And they shall come up out of the land. For great shall be the day of Jezreel.
This also goes into what? 2 precepts. In the old and the new. 2 shall be 1. That's right. I don't want to get to a point to where I'm giving y'all clues. I want y'all to kind of pick up on it yourself. That's what these classes for. It's always what? In the scriptures. Well, I've been harping on. Context clues. There's always context clues in the scriptures to let you know what other precepts is talking about. So you also got Ezekiel 37, and what is the precept in the New Testament? Romans 11. The grafting in. That's what I want to do. I want to get to where, hey, we in one spiritually. Man, I'm going to tell you, that's some heavy stuff, man. And guess what? That's how the Most High God has programmed us to do this. To be able to know what a brother is thinking. You don't think we have that power? We got that power. Bruce show that power all the time when we out there at camp reading. I know what a brother is thinking by where he's going. And if he don't, the other readers should have those things, man. That's literally what us thinking as one man knit together. Man, that's some heavy stuff right there. Go ahead, Op.
And it says, great shall be the day of Jezreel. What's another word for Jezreel? Scattered, right? This is how you know this prophecy is coming out of the north. Because those that are scattered, right? That's going to be a great day when the scattered Israelites come up out of the north, right? When we come up out of these Cubas and these all these cities that we've been scattered to. So this is another piece of how you know that this is going into prophecy. Jezreel being what's scattered. There's also a city in Judah, right? But as many as you got to get to understand, like you said, context is it. Because this Jezreel is talking about those scattered Israelites coming up out of the land of the north. Go ahead.
So what precepts should brothers have for verse 11?
Ezekiel 37, 16.
Hold on, let me hear twin. What you got, twin? And what else? That's the one from the Old Testament. What's the one from the New?
Romans 11.
Romans 11. Brothers need to have that, man. I expect brothers to have that, man. Write it down in your Bible on the side notes. Oh, Ezekiel 37.
16.
Ezekiel 37 and verse 16. And Romans chapter 11.
Verse 16 on down.
Yeah, you can put 16 on that. Yeah, to get to the point. But if you don't have enough room, just kind of put Romans 11. Because brothers, like you say, brothers should know what that chapter is going into. Brothers should know. Like you said, we are not just writing the precepts down, but you want to make sure if you don't know what it's going into, go home and read those things. That's something that you can kind of quiz yourself on. So I would say Romans 11 because you literally can't put the whole chapter in there. You know, Romans 11 and Ezekiel 37. Let's go to the book of John. Do brothers and sisters got it, Con? What you got? Right?
You had that Isaiah 11.
Yeah, if it's talking about two, but I specifically want those two right there. Yeah, you can add other precepts. Remember, what is the context? Grafting in or use the scripture.
Using two branches to make one.
That's right. That's the context. So if Isaiah 11 is saying 2-1 in different ways, yes. You can, it's many scriptures. We'll be in here for days getting every specific scripture for this thing. Read John chapter 3, verse 29 right quick. We normally just give you two witnesses. I like to do one from the new, one from the old.
The book of St. John, chapter 3 and verse 29. He that hath the bride is the bridegroom, but the friend of the bridegroom, which standeth and heareth him, rejoiceth greatly because of the bridegroom's voice.
Read that again from the top. Right?
The book of St. John, chapter 3 and verse 29. He that hath the bride is the bridegroom.
He that hath the bride is the bridegroom. Who is the bride? Any brother, raise your hand. Brother, your call. What precept? Yeah. Remember, whenever I'm asking Bruce, I'll be specific in it, and all the captains do that. Brothers should be doing that too. We asking for certain things, expect brothers to know the answer and the Bible verse as well. Help them out, Ezekiel. Let's get there right quick. Go to Isaiah 62 and verse 5. Let's start up at verse 1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 62 and verse 1.
Remember, to get the context, to get the audience, you always context audience. This is how we train in brothers, because Christians are slick. I'm going to tell you, Captain Yari cut his behind up because he thought he had something in Isaiah 52. All Captain Yari told him to do was what? Start up at verse 1. I mean, you should have seen the look on John's face, man. Like, yeah, we really are niggers that read the Bible. We don't say it like that, man. Excuse the French, but we have to speak plainly, man. Yeah, we can read now, master. Read verse 1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 62 and verse 1. For Zion's sake will I not hold my peace.
All praise. Read on.
And for Jerusalem's sake I will not rest.
Read on.
Until the righteousness thereof go forth as brightness. As bright.
Read on.
And the salvation thereof as a lamp that burneth.
That's another precept for what, brothers? Salvation. It's another precept that Bruce can have for salvation. Man, that's verse 1 is heavy. For Zion's sake will I not hold my peace. And for Jerusalem's sake will I not rest until the righteousness thereof go forth as brightness, and the salvation thereof as a lamp that burneth. I mean, the Most High God is not going to give the judgments on this earth rest until Israel has salvation. That's some heavy stuff. Brothers got to remember that precept. That's another precept that you can add to your arsenal for salvation. Jump down to verse 5.
Verse 5.
No, verse 4. Thanks, I give the Spirit.
Verse 4. Thou shalt no more be termed forsaken, neither shall thy land any more be termed desolate. But thou shalt be called Hephzibah, in thy land Beulah, for the land delighteth in thee, and thy land shall be married.
And their land shall be what?
Married.
So not only is the Most High God is going to marry Israel, he's also going to do what? Marry our land back to us. Further proving that those small hats are not the people. They have never been married to that land. That's why that land is not yielding increase unto them. That's why it's desolate. That's why it's a desert over there, man. They still don't understand these things. But the righteous, we understand these things, man. Read on.
Verse 5. For as a young man marrieth a virgin.
Read that again.
For as a young man married a virgin, so shall thy sons marry thee.
So shall thy sons marry thee. Meaning who? Christ. Go ahead.
Hezbollah. What does that mean? Who was that at first? Who was Hezbollah? Any brother know? Any brother know who was Hezbollah?
You can look it up right quick.
Yeah, you can Google it.
Falls, brother don't want to touch them falls unless it's calling somebody.
Which was who? It was Hezekiah's wife. That was the name of Hezekiah's wife, right? But Hezbollah also means something else. It means my delight in her, right? Like I said, you got to Google and start looking at these words because these words have way more meanings into them, man, right? It said we won't be termed forsaken anymore, right? Israel won't be termed forsaken, but that will be Hezbollah, which means what? I delight in you now, right? Why would the Lord be delighting us now? Because what? We're coming back into our nationality, right? We're keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. And Beulah, what is that Beulah? Any brother know? Married to what? Married to the land. Right? So make sure y'all put them footnotes. Beulah means married or married to the land. Hezbollah was Hezekiah's wife, but it also means my delight in her, right? Or I'm well pleased. Like, it only take a minute to just Google these things and look them up and see, but it gives you more insight on exactly what the scripture is talking about, right?
Because the point, and I'll make a heavy point. Remember, lock in when you stay with me, Hosea. Bruce Ty, rebuke that sleep, distracted spirit. Brothers need to have this down because you know it's going to come up in Camp 101 next week. You know it's going to come up, man. So Bruce better be locked in. And Bruce shouldn't even have to threaten a brother to even want to write it down. Brothers should want to write these things down just to have this knowledge, man. Just think when you are able to expound and to break down the scriptures in great detail, how do you think that make a brother or a sister feel? How do you think that makes the Most High God feel, man?
Right.
Think about these things. You don't never want to have cop do things. Or you know how we say have a things. We don't never want to do these things like that, man. You want to make sure that you have a good understanding. And even like Captain Yard said, only take a few seconds to Google these things, man. It only takes a few seconds. So we know that Hezekiah, that was his wife, and we know Hezekiah was what? What was Hezekiah? King of what? Of Judah, southern tribe, going also almost into the split. We know that this is specifically talking about Israel. So the more you understand a person's historical background, the more you can home in the point that this cannot be talking about no other nation.
Let me get a precept too, real quick, before I get it back. Go to Jeremiah chapter 3, because it's showing you how much the Lord loves the children of Israel. And it just makes so much sense when you read this precept and see what when you tie these two precepts in and see how much the Lord really loves us. Jeremiah 3:1. Watch it. This is heavy, man.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 3 and verse 1. They say,
right? This is what they say. Read.
If a man put away his wife, and she go from him, and become another man,
and become another man's wife, read.
Shall he return unto her again?
Shall he return unto her again? They say that if a man put away his wife and another man go into her, will he return to that woman again? Like, brothers, we know. No, we're not going back to that defilement. No, right? Read.
Shall not that land be greatly polluted?
And then, man, say, it makes so much sense now when we go back to the precept. Shall not that land be so greatly polluted? Read.
But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers.
Who is the thou that has played the harlot with many lovers? Us, right? We have played the harlot with many lovers. It's going into that James 4:4, like we were talking about, you adulterers and adulteresses. Read.
Yet return again to me, said the Lord.
And look how many chance the Lord gave us. Yet return again to me. So when you go back to your Isaiah, and now you see that Hezbollah means delight in her, and Beulah means that the land was polluted. Come on, man. We polluted the land of the Most High God, but he still says that I'm going to come back to you, right? That I'm still going to be well pleased in you. That you are still my delight. And hey, he just can't touch this, man. He just can't touch this, man. Ain't no marriage outside or no grafting in or no, it's not. The Lord said, I'm still well pleased in Israel, even though they played the harlot, even though they want a horn, man. Decided it just, man, when you put these scriptures together, it just brings it out so much more to show you the love that the Most High God still has for the children of Israel. Go ahead.
And that's some heavy stuff. Even what Captain Yar was bringing out. Prime example. Brother Fred, break down how do you go about getting a wife? What are the levels? What do you do first, huh?
You go to the father,
Okay.
dad, and go to dad, then
You stuck.
Damn, you stuck right
You
there.
You go to the father and
go to
the dad, whatever. I keep on. Come on, keep going. No, before
Already? Damn, you don't even know. Who can help the brother out? Help him out, Brother Hosea. I want you to wake up. Speak a little loud.
Speak a little louder. Go to the father, then what? If there is a dowry, you got an extra mic again. We do got an extra mic in the mic. But I'm gonna tell you, y'all be talking to us. I'm gonna tell you, the sisters be having eyes. They were like, they want to say something so bad they can't. They're like, and I'm over here like, look, I'm trying to say what you saying. Get your mic, man.
You know I'm gonna mess with the sister. He might come out with that deep voice.
No, I'm just messing. All right, first you gotta. I don't so bored. So now we're trying to love a name. First you gotta.
Speak loud, Brother Hosea. Go ahead, man.
First, we gotta discuss with the father and the third dowry, pay the dowry,
Or what? An espousal.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So with the dowry and then espousal, and then there's work to be done in the work to be done, and then from there is discussion of the ceremony. I believe.
Before then, what do you do?
Y'all missing something.
Oh, paper.
Before that. So when you meet the sister, what do you do?
Oh, prove it.
Okay. You just gonna snatch the sister up like certain. Hey,
Gotta learn a little bit.
what about her? You gotta prove that sister.
Do you like ramen noodles, chicken or beef? I mean, which one? Oogles or noodles?
Hey, these are real things. Because y'all get up in the house Y'all be up in that thing. And that thing wrestling, man.
Right.
Because guess what? She like the toilet paper upside down and you in there switching it right side up.
That's right.
I don't like my toilet paper like that, man. Say, I don't like how you cook rice. Think about these things, man. You don't know a damn thing about a sister, then you mad when she up in your house. Nigga, you didn't properly prove him. Sister, you didn't properly prove him. So it's the same thing. Christ is doing that. The Most High God is doing that with the Church of Israel. What do you think we spent 40 years in the wilderness for? Proving us to be espoused, to be married to us. He's still proving us right now.
That's right.
Even like what Captain Jerubbaal say, proving what? It never stops. Constantly proving. Go ahead, Al.
Oh, no, you good. You good. That's great.
Let's go back to Isaiah 62 and verse 5. So remember, as we breaking this thing down on a spiritual level, we want brothers and sisters to understand it on a physical level. And brothers and sisters are wondering why marriages are not working, even in the truth.
Right.
And I ain't gonna lie, I love my brothers and sisters, but I ain't got no damn pity on that thing. Especially, I use wisdom. Why do I say that? Any brother, why do I say I don't have no pity on it? Why am I saying that? Say it again. Because they neglected counsel and they forsook at not all the words of the Most High. So I look and I laugh and tell you, you got to stick with it. You got to stick with it because guess what? You didn't properly prove that sister. She didn't properly prove you. I mean, what do you expect when you don't know a person? What do you expect? Especially brothers and sisters that have been the truth 6 months soaking wet. Like, brother, what the? Brother, we knew your intentions. You came into the truth just solely for a woman. Or even like for a sister, you came into the truth solely for a man. We know these things when you're already trying to look for somebody when you fresh in the truth. The scriptures let you know where evil lurks, man.
Have we ever had a counsel where somebody proved them right and they came to us like that and said, I can't deal with this nigga? I don't think we ever had it.
No, we haven't.
I cannot sit up here and say that we've had a counsel where the husband and the wife, they proved each other and then started dealing. And then came to us and said, I can't deal with this nigga no more. Why? Because the proving stage they found out whether they can deal with him or not. That's right. Right? A marriage is I agree to put up with his shit and he agrees to put up with her shit. That's what a marriage is. I can deal with what she has a problem at. Because I can either help her with that, we can work together with that. But some things may be deal breakers. That's right. Right? And you're like, no, I can't deal with that. That's why when you come to us, oh, I can't deal with this thing. Did y'all prove each other? No, what's going on then? But we ain't trying to hear nothing else.
But what Ak is bringing out, what Captain Yar is bringing out is heavy because the thing is, you may have a husband that's up. If y'all didn't properly prove one another, you don't know if that sister is able to take those trials and tribulations with you in hard times. Because when the tough come, the tough get going. You will see a sister, and they pushing this narrative heavy on YouTube, making a divider even wider amongst blacks and our sisters. They are making the divide even harder. I don't need no man. Guess what? He got to pay 100% of the bills. Sister, you pay 100% of the bills right now by your damn self. So when you want some help, now I can understand if a brother can't afford it, but if a brother can't, sister, that's unrealistic, sis. Like you want a leader, you want a partnership. You don't want a deadbeat because guess what? Y'all can pull it together. But brothers have to be able to prove that thing. Guess what? Sisters have to be able to prove that thing too as well. Whether or not you really have what it takes to endure with a husband through real hardships. Do y'all know what hardships I'm talking about? What hardships? Financial, health, not having, losing your home. You got brothers and sisters, hey, they lose their home. Guess what? Hey, they going back to their mom. Hey, I got a mom and daddy. I don't know about you. See you when I see you, nigga. Bye. Think about these things, man. These are things that brothers and sisters don't take into consideration. Now we take it to the spiritual side. See how Christ has seen us do so much wicked stuff, and he's still here with us.
Right.
Think about it, man. We have to think about these things, man. That's why we have to take marriage seriously. That's something that we always harp on in the Battle Axe. And not just here because I know it's pretty a lot of congregations that deal with fornication, man. That's one of the number one things that plagues congregations. Not properly proving one another, man. And you get out to a slow start, guess what? Done had sex before you done properly proved it. Now y'all stuck together, you really don't want to be with that person. She a dragon in the house and you a lion in the house. It's no order. Brothers and sisters don't know their damn roles. I'm gonna tell you, that's at the heat of that thing, man. Why a lot of relationships don't last. Because each of us don't know the roles according to the scriptures. Read verse 5. Huh?
The book of Isaiah, chapter 62, and verse 5. For as a young man married a virgin, so shall thy sons marry thee. And as the bridegroom rejoiced over the bride, so shall thy God rejoice over thee.
So we see what the Most High God calls Zion, that what? What is the thought? Who forgot the thought? The bride. Remember the thought. Go back to that John chapter 3 and verse 29. Remember that. And I know sometimes, a lot of times, brothers and sisters have that one-track mind, but this is what we try to teach brothers and sisters to do what? Multitask. We're going through precepts, but those precepts can carry us somewhere else as well. But never lose the thought and the point. Read that out.
The book of St. John, chapter 3 and verse 29. He that had the bride is the bridegroom.
Is the what?
Is the bridegroom.
Read on.
But the friend of the bridegroom.
But the what up?
But the friend of the bridegroom. Which standeth and heareth him, rejoiceth greatly because of the bridegroom's voice. This my joy, therefore, is fulfilled.
Is what?
Is fulfilled.
So where do we see where Christ is the bridegroom? Any brother got a precept?
Matthew 20:29.
Yeah.
Get there right quick.
You know, we have a good time. You know, I was gonna mess with you like Pops on Friday.
You ain't half shit.
You know, I was gonna mess with you.
But I know it'd be right there, but that's what these classes are for to. That's why we always ask them, what is the point? And then what is the scripture? So we brainwash brothers into knowing and having that understanding. Read this out.
You want verse 2 first?
Yeah, read verse 2.
Come. The book of St. Matthew, chapter 22 and verse 2. The kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son.
So we know in this context, the king is who?
Read it again. Matthew chapter 22 and verse 2. The kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son.
So who is the king in this context?
Yahweh.
Yahweh, the Most High, because Most High is what? Making an arrangement for his son.
Come.
Jump down.
Come to verse 9. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as you shall find, bid to the marriage.
Bid what?
Bid to the marriage.
Read on now.
So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good. And the wedding was furnished with guests.
No, that's not what I want. Go to 2 Corinthians chapter 11. Yeah. I kind of jumped the gun on my class. You know, I really be getting excited, man.
11:2.
2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 2. Because what is the point that we're looking for? Christ being what?
Bridegroom.
That's right.
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 2. For I am jealous over you with a godly jealousy. For I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Christ. To whom? To Christ.
We don't know.
But I fear, lest by any means, as a serpent beguiled Eve.
No, that's all we want. So we see that he's jealous of us with godly jealousy, for he have espoused you to one husband. One husband, bridegroom, going into the same thing, which is two, which is Christ. Christ is the bridegroom. Christ is the husband. You brothers understand that? You sisters understand that? Let's go to Genesis chapter 49 and verse 10, because these things, well, guess what? From the beginning of time, man. These things were from the beginning.
The book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come.
Shiloh means what? Is what? It does, but specifically, the peaceable one. We don't.
Come. Until Shiloh come.
Shiloh also represents who? Christ. Thanks, I read on.
Until Shiloh come. And unto him shall the gathering of the people be.
And unto him shall the gathering of the people be. What is this saying in the New Testament? Remember, what is the title of the class? Betrothed. So we literally just read it. This is also saying
Bring the sticks back together.
What? What are we talking about?
the marriage. What did we just read that in the wedding? Y'all see, we trying to get brothers on that. Brothers almost, the wheels is turning slowly. Y'all like that old Pinto. Gotta crank that mug up slow and get that mug running. Let it run for a long time. One bruise will be in there. Remember, different words with what? Same meaning. What you got, Brother Joshua?
So this is prophecy of Yahweh Shah, so then we preach ourselves and say,
I mean, it more so, you can, that's like an add-on precept, but it more so precepts with what we just read in Matthew's 22. The wedding furnished with guests. Here is saying gathering of the people. Matthew's 22, the wedding furnished. Other places it says the what? The marriage of the Lamb. You brothers and sisters understand that? All these words are synonymous with Christ being promised or espoused to Israel. Bruce, understand that? Y'all know I ask questions when I look up and see brothers with a puzzled face. But that's what kind of make me want to go into it more, even with sisters as well. Read verse 10 again.
The book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come.
Until who comes?
Until Shiloh come.
Read on.
And unto him shall the gathering of the people be.
And unto him shall the gathering of the people be. What people? The people of Israel. Let's go to the book of Matthew 25 and 1.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 25 and verse 1. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom.
So those 10 virgins, we got 5 that were foolish, 5 that were righteous. We have done many breakdowns on these things. Just a quick breakdown. 5 foolish, meaning 5 that were keeping the commandments, and 5 that were not keeping the commandments. They going to the bridegroom, which is who? Christ. Christ is talking about a parable about himself. Righteous Israelites and wicked Israelites. Read on.
Come. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish.
What's the precept for wise? What's the precept for foolish?
13.
That's right. 1 Samuel and 13 and 13. For foolish. Foolishness is what? Not keeping the commandments. Read on.
They, verse 3, they that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them.
The oil represents what? Understanding. So you had some that, guess what? Took no understanding with them. You may have brothers, they read the scriptures, but they may not totally understand them, just like with sisters as well. You understand that, brother? You call? Read on.
Verse 4, but the wise took the oil in their vessels with their lamps.
So the wise took understanding with them when they're carrying along, keeping the commandments. They understand what their job is. They understand prophecy. They understand times and how to measure the times. Read on up.
Verse 5, while the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom coming. Go ye out to meet him.
Go ye what?
Go ye out to meet him.
Read on up.
Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps.
And did what?
And trimmed their lamps.
Read on.
And the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil.
Read on.
For our lamps are gone out.
Because guess what? They were foolish about the understanding. They didn't take to, guess what? Get the understanding of the scriptures. They didn't want to apply the law, statutes, and commandments. Read on up.
Come. Verse 9. But the wise,
hold up, I'm gonna tell you that also represents your endurance in this truth. A lot of times, brothers and sisters can move so fast you get burnt out in this truth, man. You think you done went as far. Sometimes brothers don't went as far as they can. Didn't take no understanding. Guess what? Didn't measure the times, didn't measure the cost, and didn't count the cost. Read on up.
come. But the wise answered, saying, not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go ye rather to them that sell. And the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut.
And the door was what?
And the door was shut.
And they that were ready. Hey, this is what we're working on right now. We're working on brothers and sisters doing what? Getting ready for the marriage of the Lamb. Just like how we trying to get ready for what was coming up? The Passover. We're trying to get ready for the Passover, meaning removing the leaven, making sure that, guess what, we are being tried as gold in the fire, removing all the impurities that are in us, whether it's hatred, malice, lust, envy. We have to remove all these things so the Most High God can have you into that pure gold of Ophir. Let's go to the book of Revelation chapter 14, verse 1. Because what are the qualities of a virgin? Purity, undefiled, chaste, and she's not sleeping around with everybody. These are the characteristics that Christ and the Most High is looking for us on a spiritual level. Read this out.
The book of Revelation, chapter 14 and verse 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion.
Stood on a who?
Stood on the Mount Zion.
Also giving what? More context. Read on.
And with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their forehead.
In their what?
In their forehead.
Meaning the understanding of the Bible written in their minds. Read on.
And they heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers, harping with their harps.
Jump down to verse 4.
Verse 4. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they were virgins, for they are virgins. Read verse 4 again from the top. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. For they are what? For they are virgins. So who was taught? Especially what is the Christian thought on this? What brother know? Any brother know? What is a Christian's understanding of this? What you got, Ezekiel?
This that they gonna be never had sex with a woman to that physical part.
That's right. So they don't understand the spiritual context with this. Christians teach that, because we remember a sister years ago, brother, have you had sex? I already knew where she was going. Like, yes, since I have a wife. Well, you ain't of the elect, because it tells you that the elect are virgins. Like, sis, that's not what that means. Like, yes, it is, brother. How do we know that this is not what that means? Who can give an example?
Well, Genesis, where it's talking about, I forgot who it was, that she had known no man in marriageable age.
Not in that context. We know that this is not a physical version, because who had a wife?
Oh, yeah.
Peter had a wife. Peter was the what? Top apostle. And what did Christ tell him? That he was going to have a seat in the regeneration.
Right.
So this lets you know that this is not physical. Do brothers and sisters understand that? Remember, you can learn the scriptures a couple of ways. You can learn the scriptures by what? Process of elimination. Seeing that, guess what? Oh, Peter had a wife. So this can't be talking about him, because Christ said that, guess what? He was going to see him in the regeneration, in the kingdom. Let's prove it. Let's go to where Peter had a wife. Who got the scripture? Peter had a wife. You know what I want? I just want to prove that. Get there right quick.
I got it.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 8 and verse 14. And when Yahushua was coming to Peter's house, he saw his wife's mother. He saw his what? His wife's mother. He saw his wife's mother laid and sick of a fever. So the point that we want is showing you that what? Peter had a wife. So not only was he there for his wife, he was there for his what? His mother-in-law. Showing you that he had a wife. You brothers have that. Make sure y'all put those precepts with it. Now let's go to Matthew's, the other point. 19, that's up. Oh, verse 27. Yeah, we want to get started. 27. Yeah. The book of St. Matthew, chapter 19 and verse 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we are forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? So Peter is asking, man, it's to the same point. Literally letting you know. Read on up. And Yahushua said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, in the what up? In the regeneration, read on, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Judging the what? The 12 tribes of Israel. So we see that, guess what? Peter is going to be in the kingdom. Letting you know that that virgin is not what? Physical, it's what? Spiritual. Let's go back. Who don't have the precepts? What you need, twin?
Revelation 14, 3-4.
Speak up. Pass the mic back up.
Okay, I said the one, Revelation 14:4. I don't got no precept right there.
Remember, the precept that you want is virgins. That's a precept for that. So we went to Matthew chapter 8
and verse 14 to prove that Peter was not a physical virgin. So the point that it's making is that this is spiritual, not physical. You understand that point, right? So Matthew chapter 8 and verse 14. And then that's where you will put that Matthew chapter 19, verse 27. To prove to you also that they will be with him in the regeneration, in the kingdom. So this is not physical. What you got? I'm just showing his muscles over there. Let's go to the book of what you got? What you need?
Could I use Isaiah 12 to go with that in the sense of Isaiah had a child or had a wife?
We'll be after class, but we have to go a little bit deeper to it. But as a virgin, yeah, you can just off face value. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 19. Read verse 1. The book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 1. And after these things, I heard a great voice of much people in heaven, saying, Hallelujah, salvation and glory and honor and power unto the Lord our God. Read on. For true and righteous are his judgments. For he had judged the great whore. For he had judged the great whore. The great whore is who, brothers? Read on. Which did corrupt the earth with her fornication, and had avenged of the blood of his servants at her hand. Read that last part again. And had avenged the blood of his servants at her hand. At her what? At her hand. What is the precept for servants, Brother Jonathan? You know it don't stop, it don't quit. Precepts for servants. Yeah, I want to get something that I may think that y'all don't know that y'all need to study on. Jonathan should know this one too. What you doing? What the hell? What the hell going on, Brother Jonathan?
Servant.
Precepts for servants.
Hosea, Hosea.
Well, they love to put their hands with others.
Sister.
Nah, the brothers when they know one. Yeah,
What you got? And what? $25, $55? Yes, that's a good one. Now, Leviticus 25 and verse 55 is another precept for Israel being the servants of God. Jump down to verse, pray, right? Jump down to verse 6. The book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 6. And they heard, as it were, the voice of a great multitude, and as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of mighty thundering, saying, Hallelujah, for the Lord God, omnipotent, reigneth. Read on. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife had made herself ready. We also read this where earlier? That's right. Matthew 25 and where else? Matthew 2?
Proverbs 29.
Remember, the marriage of the Lamb is another word for what? We literally just went over. Y'all missed the thought. I probably have to start writing it together. Marriage of the Lamb is saying the wedding is furnished, and it's also saying what? The espoused, but it's also saying gathering of the people. So you got Genesis 49 and 10, Matthew 22 and verse 9. Then you also have what? Matthew chapter 25. These are all saying the same thing. Who don't understand that? It's okay if you don't. Because I know the thought. The thought is brothers want to see marriage in every precinct. It's not going to be like that because remember, it's written as a mystery. You have to be able to decode these things and understand similitudes and synonyms. Marriage of the Lamb, going to the wedding, going into the gathering of the people. Do brothers understand that? Oh no, brothers, that sound too sure. Come. I didn't hear twin, man. You sure?
I said
Read on, huh?
Come, verse 7 from the top. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife hath made herself ready.
Give me Jeremiah 2 and verse 2. We'll come back. Start at verse 1.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Go and cry in the ears of Jerusalem, saying, Thus said the Lord, I remember thee, the loving kindness of thy youth. The loving kindness of thy youth, the love of thine espousal.
The love of thine espousal. That's some heavy stuff because guess what? When we found out that these God's chosen people, think about it, man. How did brothers and sisters feel, man? Brothers and sisters feel good as hell. We found out, man, that guess what? We was espoused or the children of the Most High, man. That was a beautiful thing, man, and it's still a beautiful thing, man. We don't
Come. When thou wentest after me in the wilderness.
So Jeremiah is going back to history. Remember, they all things that are written are what? Are written for our learning, meaning the history that we constantly went through. We don't
Come. When thou wentest after me in the wilderness, in a land that was not sown.
Read on.
Israel was holiness unto the Lord, and the first fruits of his increase.
So it's giving you a name, giving you an audience, it's giving you context. No other nation was ever espoused to Christ. This makes absolutely no sense. Read on up.
Come. When thou wentest after me in the wilderness, in a land that was not sown, Israel was holiness unto the Lord, and the first fruits of his increase. All that devour him shall offend.
Read that part again.
Come. All that devour him shall offend.
Shall offend, and what shall happen? Read on.
And evil shall come upon them, said the Lord.
Man, this is some heavy stuff, man. Because nowhere do we see no other nation that can get into this marriage, man. Matter of fact, he says, if they offend, evil shall come upon them, man. Most High God is not playing no games. These are precepts that brothers must remember when we out there dabbling the pathetics. Brothers have to remember these things, man. I'm going to tell you, brothers have to remember these things when it's their time to teach. Brothers have to be up on that thing, man. Like you say, you give him warning. Let's go back to the book of Revelation, chapter 19.
You want 8 or 7? Verse 7. Thanks, sir. Come. The book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 7. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him. For the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife hath made herself ready. And to her was granted that she be arrayed in fine linen.
And fine what?
In fine linen.
Meaning what, brothers?
Righteousness.
Righteousness. What is the precept?
6:25.
Hold on, what you got, Twin?
Deuteronomy 6:25 for righteousness. Or you talking about something else?
Yes, something else. Yes, you should. You're not wrong, Doc. Yes. But I want, what do I want? Arrayed in linen.
132:9.
Let's get that. So remember, linen, when it talks about linen and putting on something, it's talking about what, brothers? Putting on the law. Remember, a lot of things in the Bible are parabolic, similar to spoken in a mystery. You have certain things that are plain. A lot of times it just takes brothers to constantly keep going over these things, taking the notes and praying for discernment. Because you weren't wrong, twin. Read this out.
The book of Psalms, chapter 132 and verse 9. Let thy priests be clothed with righteousness, and let thy saints shout for joy.
So the Most High God wants us to put on righteousness. He uses these things as a what? As a similitude. Let's go to Job chapter 29 and verse 14. Yeah.
The book of Job, chapter 29 and verse 14. I put on righteousness, and it clothed, and it what? And it clothed,
We don't.
my judgment was as a robe and a diadem.
So we see how the Most High God uses clothes and a diadem. A diadem is a crown. As a reference, as a similitude to putting on the commandments. Read it again.
Job, chapter 29 and verse 14. I put on righteousness, and it clothed me. My judgment was as a robe and a diadem.
Because the thing is, remember, think about the attributes of a bride. She's doing what? Getting beautiful. She's putting on a white dress. White represents what? Pureness. You have to think about the similitudes and the comparison to a real wedding. Let's go back to verse 8.
The book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 8. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white. For the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints.
Let's get another precept. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9 and verse 8.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9 and verse 8. Let thy garments be always white.
Read that again.
Let thy garments be always white.
He's telling you, let your garments be always white. Saying what?
Without spots. No
Spot, without sin. Always have on the commandments. Not only just having on the commandments, always be what? Clean when you wear the commandments. Without spot, without blemish. Not a stain on it. Read verse 8 again.
Come. Let thy garments be always white, and let thy head lack no ointment.
That ointment is going into what? Understanding. And don't you lack understanding. Let's go back to Revelation. Read verse 9.
The book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 9. And he said unto me, Right, blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said unto me, These are the true sayings of God. Verse 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, See thou, do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Worship God. Do what? Worship God.
Worship God. Read on.
For the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy.
These are the spirits of prophecy. So remember, we always go by what the prophecy say. So this is what I want to ask. Let's go to Acts chapter 15 and verse 7. Going through all those precepts, we see that the marriage is only for who, brothers?
The book of Acts, chapter 15 and verse 7. And when there had been much disputing, Peter rose up and said unto them, Men and brethren, ye know how that a good while ago God made choice among us, that the Gentiles by my mouth should hear the words of the gospel and believe.
Brother Joshua, what Gentiles is this? Read it again for
him. Acts chapter 15 and verse 7. And when there had been much disputing, Peter rose up and said unto them, Men and brethren, ye know how that a good while ago God made choice among us, that the Gentiles by my mouth should hear the word of the gospel and believe.
What Gentiles do you think that this is? Okay, how do you know that? That's right. And what? And believe. Remember, what is the precept for gospel? What is the gospel, Brother Dawood? That's right. In the New Testament, twin, what is the gospel? Remember, I'm going to tell you, he just gave you a precept. So if he gave you Isaiah 61 and 1, and you wrote the precept where Isaiah 61 is, all you have to go to Isaiah 61. That's right. Showing you clearly that these Gentiles, depending on what the context, is showing you that these are Israelites in a Gentile state of mind. Because we know that the gospel was only sent to who? To the Israelites. Jerubbaal just broke it down with Hebrews chapter 4, verse 1 through 3 last week, showing you, guess what? We got the gospel in where? In the wilderness. Captain Yara just broke it down to John last Sabbath. Brothers have to be able to pull these clues out. This specifically in verse 7. Read verse 7 again.
Verse 7. And when there had been much disputing, Peter rose up and said unto them, Men and brethren, ye know how that a good while ago God made choice among us, that the Gentiles by my mouth should hear the word of the gospel and believe.
So what brother? Yeah, let's see what brother gonna raise their hands on this. In context, who heard the words and believed? Specifically, what brother know? What you got, Ezekiel?
Go to the count, Acts 10:44.
Which is who?
Which is
Specifically, Acts chapter 10 is going into what?
it is
Going to who?
leaders.
Cornelius. Do brothers understand that? A little while ago in the scriptures is what? 4 or 5 chapters before. Remember, it's history. A lot of times brothers just read it like it's pages on the book. No, it's time that I'm in between that. You can read a couple pages and it go from tens and tens of years. Do brothers understand that? That's where you have to really kind of get into the scriptures, man. So this is what it's specifically talking about. Go to the book of Acts chapter 10 and verse 43. Start at verse 43. Start at verse 41.
Another one that I want. I thought it was verse 21.
No, I want that one, but read this specifically. Because it is that is what I want too.
Okay. The book of Acts, chapter 10 and verse 41. Not 39. The book of Acts, chapter 10 and verse 39. And we are witnesses of all things which he did both in the land of the Jews and in Jerusalem, whom they slew and hanged on a tree.
Right. This is going into who?
Right.
Christ, right? Watch it read.
Him God raised up the third day and showed him openly.
Show Christ openly, right? Read.
Not to all the people.
Not to all of, listen to now. Pay attention, brothers. Watch what it's saying. Not to all the people. Why did the Lord not show Christ to all the people? Simple. Don't go too deep. Simple.
He come for all the people.
He wasn't coming for everybody. That's the reason why he wasn't shown to all the people, because he didn't come for everybody. Right? Read.
Not to all the people, but unto witnesses chosen before of God.
Who?
Chosen before of God.
You see, this is, like you say, this is what you call it, the idiot book. What do you call that? What do you call them books? Yeah, for dummies, right? Dummies, right? Because it's making it plain. It's saying it's telling you the witnesses, the chosen. Who witnessed everything in the Bible? Who were the witnesses? Who is the chosen? Who did Christ come for? So that's one reason why, like you say, when I jump it down to 44, it just keep everything in cultural context, man. Right?
I'm gonna tell y'all. Do y'all understand how heavy verse 41 is, man?
Yeah.
That thing is heavy. What is the context clues in that? What brother can raise their hand and give it to me?
Just break it down.
What you got, Joshua?
All the people.
Okay. What is another one? What is another one? Witnesses. What is another one? Chosen. What is another one? Chosen before God. Do y'all see how many context clues is in that thing? That thing is heavy, man. I'm talking about heavy as hell. Jump over to verse 21. Oh no, I'm talking about I'm so crunk I didn't even read down.
Verse 41 from the top. Not to all the people, but unto witness chosen before of God, even to us who did eat and drink with him after he rose from the dead. And he commanded us to preach unto the people and to testify that it is he which was ordained of God to be the judge of the quick and dead. The change, read on. To him give all the prophets witness that through his name, whosoever believeth in him shall receive remission of sin.
Now, whosoever is who, brothers?
Israel, read on. Verse 44. While Peter yet spake these words, the Holy Ghost fell on all them which heard the word.
Who was the all the them that heard the words? Keep reading.
Verse 45. And they of the circumcision which believe. Which who? Which believe.
The circumcision makes reference to what, brothers?
Southern Kingdom.
Southern Kingdom. Remember, we went over this in Capt 101. Read on.
Were astonished, as many as came with Peter, because on the Gentiles also was poured out the gift of the Holy Ghost.
It lets you know who are these Gentiles?
Northern Kingdom.
Northern Kingdom, but also who? Israelites. Because remember, it talks about the circumcision in there too. So you have to just word it as Israelites. Jump over to verse 21.
Acts chapter 10 and verse 21. Then Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him for Cornelius and said, Behold, I am he whom ye seek. Read on.
What is the cause therefore?
Sorry, what is the cause wherefore ye are come? And they said, Cornelius the centurion, a just man.
Hey, what?
A just man, and one that feared God.
And he was keeping the commandments. Read on.
In a good report among all the nation of the Jews.
How the hell he gonna have a good report among the nation of the Jews if he's not an Israelite? Well, we don't give a damn about or any report on the other nations, man. This makes absolutely nothing at all to do with us. This makes absolutely no sense, and these are the things that brothers need to put asterisks by. Brothers got to underline, do whatever it takes to get that understanding, to be able to bring these points out. You have to home in these points, man. Read on. And one that feared God, and of good report among all the nations of the Jews, was warned from God by an holy angel to send for thee into his house.
I want to see the brothers, because, man, we already touched on this ample amount of time.
That's right.
Did you see how these brothers catch? What did they say about the Jews? What did they call it? It's called circumcision, but they call it something else in here. Same verse. What did they call it? We talking about the Jews. What else they call it? Nations. They call the Jews nations. Right? Think about it. So, like, even in certain contexts, you might see something talk about the nations. What nations is it talking about? Right? These things right here, like I'll say, don't give a damn. What you got to do? Yeah, if you got to write it down, stick it on side your forehead.
For real, man.
Just put it there, man.
I
Right?
put a line in that thing, and I underline key text words, man. I don't know. It's not a sin for brothers to write in their book, man. It's not a sin, man. You can write in your book to make sure that you get the understanding. Captains, we do it all the time. We underline, we asterisk, we do all these things to make sure we home in that point. Read verse 22 again, huh?
Verse 22, and they said, Cornelius, the centurion, a just man, and one that feared God, and of good report among all the nation of the Jews, was warned from God by an holy angel to send for thee into his house, and to hear the word. It's like, and to hear words of thee.
To hear words of thee and what? Believe.
Right.
Do brothers understand that? Saying the same thing we literally just read in the book of Acts, chapter 15, verse 5. Brothers got to lump these precepts together. Go back to Acts chapter 15 and verse 7. So that's where y'all can put certain points in Acts chapter 15, verse 7. Read this off.
The book of Acts, chapter 15 and verse 7. And when there had been much disputing, Peter rose up and said unto them, Men and brethren, ye know how that a good while ago God made choice among us, that the Gentiles by my mouth,
By my what?
by my mouth,
Who are those Gentiles, brothers?
Israelites.
Specifically who?
Cornelius.
Specifically?
Cornelius.
Thank you.
Read on. It's like that the Gentiles by my mouth should hear the word of the gospel and believe.
And what?
And believe.
Let's get some more. Let's go to the book of we touched it. I'll get brothers that wasn't here. Go to Acts chapter 28, verse 28.
The book of Acts, chapter 28 and verse 28. Be it known, therefore, unto you that the salvation of God is sent unto the Gentiles, and that they will hear it.
What Gentiles is this, brother Jonathan? Read it again for him.
The book of Acts, chapter 28 and verse 28. Be it known, therefore, unto you that the salvation of God is sent unto the Gentiles, and that they will hear it.
How do you know? That's it. Plain. Simple. Salvation. How do we know salvation, Daoud? Because what? Luke 1 and 68, salvation was only sent to the nation of Israel. This is how you literally pick apart a pathetic. Let's get some more. Y'all got some up?
Apollo pathetic. Apollo pathetic.
Let's go to that Ephesians 4 and 17.
book of Ephesians, chapter 4 and verse 17. This I say, therefore, and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind, having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God, through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart. That's some heavy stuff right there. Read it again from the top. The book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 17. This I say, therefore, in testifying the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind.
Hold on. Brothers, can we catch this? Read that one more time.
Ephesians chapter 4, verse 17. This I say, therefore, and testify in the Lord.
And testify in the Lord.
That ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk.
Okay. What is walking as other Gentiles walk?
Other nations.
You see how that go? So that meaning what? It's two types of damn Gentiles, man. Right? Said, no, y'all Gentiles don't walk as those Gentiles because y'all are not the same. Right? Meaning what? They are not given salvation. You got a chance to repent. You got promises from the Lord. You got heirs to the kingdom. All of these things is given to you. It's not given to them. Right? Putting the difference between them and us. Right? Why? Because of, let me see, brother. What precept brother got down beside there? Let's see what they got. Right here.
Right.
What precept brothers got down? 1 Peter 4 and 3. I want an example precept. Watch this. Go to 2 Maccabees, chapter 4. Second Maccabees chapter 4, and yes, now he calling out. Now he calling out. He looking at that.
Come.
Read it.
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 4 and verse 15. Not sitting by the honors of their fathers. The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 4 and verse 15. Not sitting by the honor of their fathers, but like in the glory of the Grecians, best of all.
Did y'all catch that? Not setting the honor by their fathers, but like in the what? The Grecians best of all. Meaning what, brother? Like in the Grecian custom. Right? Watch it read on though.
By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them, for they had them to be their enemies and avengers.
Ain't this the same thing we got right now? This is the same thing our people do now. They want Esau to be our enemy. They know he our enemy, but they damn sure want him to save us too. Right? That's why you can kick the black man out the home. This is how you can Superman, he was the end all be all. You got Superman, you got Rocky, you got all these famous so-called Edomites that we grew up watching because they were supposed to be the saviors, right? Watch it read.
Whose custom they followed so earnestly, and unto whom they desired to be like in all things.
So the Lord said we desire to be like them in all things, right? Instead of them, we being the salt, we let them to be the salt. Some base men be the salt, right? Go ahead, up.
Let's go back to Ephesians chapter 4, verse 17. Book of Ephesians, chapter 4, and verse 17. Because I want to see if brothers call it and count one-on-one. Not only that, I wanted if brothers catch the mistake that I made. Brothers remember? I don't know if brothers remember. Because a lot of times, even like how we tell brothers and sisters, I was reading so fast, all you have to do is just read down. Read verse 17 again. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 17. This I say, therefore, and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind, having their understanding darkened. So even like Capt Jerubbaal was going through, telling them and teaching them not to be like the real Gentiles. Read on out. Having the understanding darkened.
Having the understanding darkened, read on,
Being alienated from the life of God.
being alienated from the life of God. Jump over to Ephesians chapter 2, verse 12.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 2 and verse 12. That at that time ye were without Christ, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel.
The commonwealth is going into the heritage, everything that's established you as a nation, showing you that these are what? Israelites in a Gentile state of mind. A lot of times you have to read more up or more down, because 17, I know was kind of going through it. I was saying that these were the actual Gentiles. But what was the mistake that I made? We didn't read further down. So this is why I'm making sure that, because guess what? It happened to me. Do brothers understand that? Go ahead, Al.
That's a great point, because these are Gentiles of our people.
That's right.
And it shows you when you read that, it shows you having an understanding darkened.
That's right.
For them to even have understanding, lets you know that these are Israelites. Having an understanding darkened, how would an understanding darkened? 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 14, 2 Corinthians chapter 11, 2 verse 11, right? Then it says, being alienated, like I said, alienated from the life of God through the ignorance.
That's right.
That is in them, right? A lot of our brothers and sisters have ignorance on them.
That's right.
That's how they become Gentiles, because they conform to these ignorant doctrines, to these ignorant apologetics, right? Anodogetics, apologetics, right? Yes, these are us. Jump over real quick to 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Stay there. I just want to get this preacher right quick.
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 2 and verse 11.
Bring it out.
Lest Satan should get an advantage of us. For we are not ignorant of his devices.
So this is why they are this being ignorant of the devices.
That's right.
And let Satan tempt you with these devices that we are not able to look and see, right? Then jump over to 3 and 14. It's real
2
quick.
Corinthians, it's like chapter 3 and verse 14.
Bring it up.
But their minds were blinded.
You see that? The devices, therefore our minds have been blinded. That's the darkness that it's talking about. Right? Being alienated from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them because of blindness of their heart.
This is why. Read on. Come. But their minds were blinded, for unto this day remaineth the same veil, untaken away in the reading of the Old Testament, which veil is done in a Mashiach.
Because so just make sure y'all put them priests up there to show you that in fact these were Israelites of our people as well, and why and how they went a horn or went and lost their understanding. All right.
That further lets you know that's why Israelites are not like Christianity churches, man. We see things that need to be corrected in the scriptures, and we correct it. We acknowledge those things, so I stand corrected on that. Go back to Ephesians chapter 2, verse 18 and read it out. 4 and 18. Thanks, Al.
Book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 18. Having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God, through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart.
Because of the blindness of their heart. Keep reading up.
Verse 19, who being past feeling, have given themselves over into lasciviousness.
That's what many of our people did, man. Strong sexual desires. Read on.
To work all uncleanliness with greediness.
With who?
With greediness.
This is the point. Read on.
But ye have not learned, but ye have not so learned Christ.
That's the point. We have not so learned Christ, man. This is a heavy stuff. Let's go to the book of Galatians, chapter 3, verse 14. So y'all make sure y'all put a footnote to understand.
Hey, brothers got to type a little better than they type it. Marriage is honorable on the bed. It's on the fire.
On the fire, boy.
Come on, brother. Retract that.
Read Galatians chapter 3, verse 14.
The book of Galatians, chapter 3 and verse 14. that the blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles through Hamashiach Yahushua, that we might receive the promise of the Spirit through faith. Brother Fred, what Gentiles is this?
Read that again. I'm writing it down. Say that again.
Read it again for Brother Fred. The book of Galatians, chapter 3 and verse 14. That the blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles through Yahushua, that we might receive the promise of the Spirit through faith. How do you know?
Because it said the blessing of Abraham might come upon the Gentiles.
Through what?
Through Yahushua.
You got to add that part out, because Christians are used it just a way to kind of frame themselves in there with Abraham. Even they don't have a leg to stand up on, but they know damn well they don't have a leg to stand up on when you add that with Christ. What else is in there that you know?
That we might receive the promise, Spirit through faith.
That's right. What emphasis on what?
We got the Romans 9.
All right, what word though? Say it.
The promises.
That's
All
right.
right.
We want to know that brothers understand that. Even with the understanding with Abraham, what precepts will brothers go to? Do you got it, brother? You call 28:4. What was the point? Remember, Brother Ezra's brought it out. What was the other point? What is the precept though? It's what brothers got to train themselves getting the Bible verses. Now, I want brother your call. And what else? What was the other one we went on? Not you.
28:14.
Read it right. Genesis 28:14. Yes. I'll read that right quick. But it was another that I want to home in the point even more. This is a good one that I brought out. Read this right quick though.
The book of Genesis, chapter 28 and verse 4. And give thee the blessing of Abraham to thee and to thy seed with thee. So emphasis on what? Seed, singular. Read on. That thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which God gave unto Abraham. So that is a good one. But what was the other good one? What you got, Doug? That's right. Let's get there right quick. Genesis 17:15.
Because who remembers the thought?
That brothers have to break down. What is the thought, Brother Balak?
Sarah only had one son.
That's right. What is the other thought?
She'd be the mother of nations.
That's right. And it's another thought.
The blessing was given to Ishmael, but the promises was given to Israel.
And don't forget the other special word, covenant.
Covenants.
That's right. All praises. Get those brothers a hand, man. All praises, man. Blessings and covenants are two different things. When brothers are out there teaching those things, you have to home in that point. Because Christians trying to lump everything in there with Abraham. What is the other thought? I just helped y'all out. Yeah, he already said that. What is the other thought? Brothers got to remember these talking points. The other thought is, did all nations come out of Abraham? Did all races come from Abraham? Twin looking, do you know, Twin?
All nations.
Yes, but I'm asking you specifically, did all races come out of Abraham? No. Who came out of Abraham? And who else? And who else? He had more sons than that. And who else? Esau. That's why you have to know that. A Christian to see and play upon that and use that to their advantage. Because you may not properly know the lineage. So he'll try to use that to lump all nations in there. You have to be on Abraham, all races didn't come out of Abraham. Abraham come out of the lineage of what? Shem, Ham, or Japheth? Shem. So guess what? Ham don't come from Abraham and Japheth don't come from Abraham. So they not in that. So it's many ways that you can go about destroying a Christian, man. We're trying to put brothers up on this because it's all is going into what? Everybody's not invited to the marriage of the Lamb. Right. Everybody's not getting a damn invitation, man. Even now, everybody can't get an invitation to John at your damn job or Bill. I don't even want to go there. Food nasty as hell. Got raisins and sunflower seeds and mashed potatoes. Ain't nobody eating that. No salt, man. No, you can keep that.
They can fry chicken perfectly, but they ain't got no salt on it.
Even now, they talk about this separation going back to segregation. We don't give a damn. All praises to the Most High. Get that thing a hand clap, man. That thing is good. Because we don't want to go up in them places no damn way, man. Food ain't good. Guess what? They need us before we need them. So I'm gonna tell you, the Most High God is using that to wake more people up, especially brothers and sisters that are cooning out. How they cooning right now, then?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, just like when they got like the Great Depression, man, we was thriving.
Right.
Right? They had, even during COVID, we didn't struggle through no damn COVID. Man, we prospered more through COVID than we ever had. I'm talking about C57, 756. I'm talking about we really prospered. We don't care. Every time they say, well, it was another time close. What they said that we had a recession. We wasn't hurt during the recession, right? We never hurt.
Why is that? Because we used to struggle. We used to struggling. And guess what? We know that we won't struggle if we got the Most High on our side, man. He gives us everything that we need. Remember, he ain't giving us everything we want. He's giving us the things that we need. So I say this to even, like you say, with the sisters. You know, hey, y'all have to be careful. The husband is telling you such and such. Listen to him, man. It's for a specific reason, man. Single brothers, single sisters, even like we were saying with the income tax, be wise about these things, man, because things are going to get harder. Want to use your finances with wisdom, man. Give me Revelation chapter 21 and verse 2. You finish your thought up. Yes, I'm on. Yeah, go to it. Go to Romans chapter 9, verse 7. I want to get this right quick. Then we'll go to that Revelation.
And we did go to jump down and go to what? 3 and what? 3 and 16. That's another point down with for real. Just the home in and back up. How you said it, twin. The children of the promise, the children of the flesh. Start at verse 7, 9 and 7.
The book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 7.
Start at 6.
The book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 6. That is though the word of God had taken none effect, for they are not all Israel, which are of Israel. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham, are they all children.
It said neither they are the seed of Abraham, or they all children. Right?
But in Isaac.
But in
Isaac.
But in Isaac, like we had precept,
In Genesis 17, Genesis 21. Read on.
But in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
But in Isaac shall thy seed be called. They can't get around this, right? They try to, what is it? It's scripture show, man. This is what the prophets and Moses, the Torah, and Tanakh taught. This is what Christ and Paul taught. Read on.
Come. Verse 8. That is, they which are the children of the flesh.
Again, who are the children of the flesh, twin? Who? Esau and them.
specifically, I need you to know specifically.
Yeah, who are the children of the flesh?
No, it's those.
Oh, Ishmael.
And who?
Esau.
Ishmael and Esau. They are the children of the
Flesh, right?
Read on.
Come. These which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of God.
Come on, man. You cannot get around that, man. These are not the children of God. No way, in fact, can you put yourself not. Yes, no, not.
You are not the father.
You are not the father. How can you be the father? They say you are not the father. You don't see the brother.
So they know they said they
Not the father. I mean, ain't no inkling way that they can be. You are not in the lineage of the bloodline of the chosen. Read on.
These are not the children of God,
But what?
but the children of the promise are counted for the seed.
But the children of the promise are. Now, who are the children of the promise, twin?
Israel. The precept. Romans 9 and 4.
All praise.
Like you know it did.
Give me some names, man. Shit.
Israel. Jacob.
Who else? Bloodline. What a high bloodline. Give my bloodline. The children of the promise.
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
All praise. There you go, man. Simple. Give the rundown of the bloodline. Those are the children of the promise. Ishmael and Esau are the children of the flesh. Right? And then, like I said, Ephesians 3:16. Galatians 3:16. That shows you the seed. Go ahead.
I forgot. I meant to go to Psalms right quick. Psalm 69. I meant to put there with the, that's really kind of touching on it more earlier. So Psalm 69 in read verse 8. Because this lumps with that Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 17, Ephesians 2 and 12. Right? I forgot to bring it out, but we can bring it out right now.
The book of Psalms, chapter 69 and verse 8. I have become a stranger unto my brethren, and an alien unto my mother's children.
What does that mean, folks? What does that mean? It says, I became a stranger unto my brother, right? And an alien unto my mother's children. Meaning what? Separated. Meaning what? I need more. Know me. Give me more.
One off, like prodigal son.
Like the prodigal son. Good prodigal son. Meaning, just like going into the northern kingdom, they had became a strangers and they also became an alien. Right? This is something that we can kind of lump this back, like you say, going into Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 12, Ephesians 4 and 17, 18, like that. Right? These are the things like I say, but especially basically anything you can see when it goes into becoming a stranger or becoming an alien. Because we know King David wasn't a stranger or an alien. Solomon wasn't a stranger or an alien. So if he said he became that, meaning what? An Israelite can become a what? A stranger or an alien, right? Go ahead.
And this is David doing what? Prophesying about it. So brothers need that. Ak is in the damn spirit. Brothers need that precept. Because this is literally David prophesying how we would become strangers. Brothers, write it down. So what would you have right there, Brother Joshua?
David prophesying about
That. But what is the precepts that you should have? What is the precepts that you should have right there? I just named them. Do you have them? And what else? That's right, emphasis on what? Aliens and strangers. Really aliens, because it's using the same phraseology. Ephesians 2 and 12, Ephesians 4 and 18. Keyword aliens. Alienated. Aliens from the Commonwealth of Israel. This is all the same terminology. Do brothers understand that? Who don't have it? Stop being scared to say you ain't got it. We gonna joke about y'all because y'all write slow. But y'all need it. Ephesians 4 and 18. Psalm 69 and verse 8. Emphasizing what? David prophesying about how his brothers will become strangers and aliens. It's a great precept, man. You got some more good.
Hey, I need one more. I forgot to get this. Let's go to 1 Ezra chapter 8.
Let's get all of them.
1 Ezra 8 and 69.
verse. Right there.
First Esdras 8 and 69.
The book of First Esdras, chapter 8 and verse 69.
Bring it out.
The nation of Israel, the princes, the priests, and Levites.
You see that? Put a whole rundown on the nation of Israel, right? The princes, the priests, and the Levites, right? Read.
Have not put away from them the strange people of the land,
The strange people of the land. Read.
nor the pollutions of the Gentiles.
All the pollutions of the who?
Of the Gentiles.
See this?
It didn't call them heathens right here. What did they call these people?
Gentiles.
They called them Gentiles, man. Right? You have to know the context of what it's referring to. And this is going to show you who they are.
To wit of the Canaanites.
Who are what?
Gentiles.
Read on.
Hittite.
Who are what?
Gentiles.
Read on.
Parasites. Jebusites.
Right.
And the Moabites.
Read.
Egyptians. And Edomites.
All these are heathens. What we see in second Esdras, you call them what? Gentiles, right? But if you didn't have the context or Palatinic tried to come and with these legit, they don't have the understanding, but you got to know and see. Gentile nation, right? These things are periodically used in different aspects, but that's how the Most High God did it for the children of Israel, man. For us to be able to unlock and break down these things and know what context we're in so that we can better learn our people, man, who they are and what's going on in this time, right? So you see it called them Gentiles, but they are in fact heathen Gentiles right here, right? So
let's go to Revelation 21 and 12, last precept. Then I got a question for brothers or for sisters. It's a hard question too. Not really though, if you take good notes. Not really. Revelations 21 and 2. Start at verse 1 out. The book of Revelation, chapter 21 and verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. So this heaven makes reference to what? New rulership. The old rulership passed away. Read it again, book, chapter, verse from the top. Revelation chapter 21 and verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. This precepts with what, bro?
Second Esdras 69.
And what else?
That's the one I got right there.
I did.
What you got, Daoud?
I did 62.
Say it again.
I did 62.
62 and 40?
2 and 4. 2 and 4.
66.
I did 65. Isaiah 65. What you say, dog? 62 and what? 4. What we did 4 earlier.
No. You need that 65 in verse 17. Saying the same thing. Read that Isaiah 65 and 17 now. The book of Isaiah, chapter 65 and verse 17. For behold, I will create new heaven and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. Read on, but be you glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem. He creates who? I create Jerusalem. Read on, a rejoicing, and her people a joy. So go back, saying the same exact thing. Isaiah is saying the same thing that John the Revelator is saying. John the Revelator is expounding upon things that Isaiah is saying. Read it again out from the top. Revelation, like chapter 21 and verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. So it's not literally saying that the earth is going to be totally destroyed. It's not saying that the kingdom of heaven from the Most High, from the third heaven, is coming down. It's talking about a new rulership. These brothers and sisters understand. Read on. If there was no more sea, no more, read on. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, new what? New Jerusalem, read on, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride. As a what? As a bride. As a what? As a bride. Read on, adorned for her husband. Hey, it's no way
Christians can fit into this, man. This is the last book of the Bible. Don't get no more New Testament than Revelation, man. It's literally telling you, you would think if it was talking about any other nations, John the Revelator or the Most High would have had John the Revelator write it in there. He didn't write it in there because they ain't in there, man. And with that, say shalom. We tell brothers and sisters to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. So we're just going to go back to Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4. Read that right quick out. Make sure that brothers and sisters share and like the videos. Make sure that brothers and sisters help us push this truth to the four corners of the earth. Make sure that brothers and sisters help this ministry with arms. Like we say, we want to keep the lights on in the building, having a place of worship for the Most High. Make sure y'all send those arms in to the Battle Axe Cash App. Those things are dearly needed, brothers and sisters. You know, not only for the building, but to try to get to a city near y'all, man, to bring out this word, man. Read this out. The book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers, God will judge. God will who? God will judge. So don't defile the marriage of the Lord, brothers and sisters, man. This thing is heavy, carnally, and most important, spiritually, man. And with that, we say shalom. Real quick, hard question. Go ahead,